Coming up on Peninsula Beat, it's election time, so don't forget to get out there and vote. The City of RPV are using new technology to keep our residents even safer. Are you prepared in case of a disaster? Now's the time to get more info at this expo. Local residents show off their artwork and home art studios at these special tours. It's a special cleanup day to keep our community looking its best. No matter what your age, working out is life-changing for everyone. Dozens of automated license plate recognition cameras have recently been installed around the peninsula. Liz Brown-Swanson reports on the surveillance cameras helping law enforcement to fight crime.
This is one of the newly installed ALPR cameras now watching for crime on the peninsula.
The ALPR cameras are automated license plate reader cameras, and they alert us to stolen vehicles, wanted vehicles, vehicles associated with missing persons, and we're installing them around the peninsula in strategic locations. There'll be over 40 cameras total when the project is done, and that includes Rancho Palos Verdes, Rolling Hills Estates, and Palos Verdes Estates are all involved in this project.
The captain of the Lomita Sheriff Station says the cameras have already resulted in multiple arrests.
First week that the cameras were fully functional with Lomita Sheriff Station, it resulted in 4 lost or stolen vehicle hits, and the sheriff was able to recover 3 stolen vehicles, as well as that leading to 3 arrests. And with those arrests, they actually found stolen goods in addition to burglary tools. So you can see that it's hopefully helping on the prevention side, preventing other people from becoming victims. And that's very encouraging, these early stats, just in the short time that these cameras have been fully up.
RPV's deputy city manager says the ALPR program was needed to help put a dent in a peninsula-wide spike in crime. All 4 city councils on the Hill agreed to purchase the cameras and fund the nearly $750,000 project.
Saw that residential burglaries were at an all-time high for our city. It was of extreme concern to the council, and public safety is always our utmost concern. And so the ALPR seemed like a very good route to go, especially because where we are located geographically, we have a peninsula, which works in our advantage for ALPRs because we could put them at strategic locations. And we found that when we partnered with the other cities, all the cities would save money because we were able to do fewer cameras.
RPV also plans to add more video cameras along Western Avenue as part of the City Council's ongoing efforts to improve public safety.
We're going to start looking at doing another round of cameras for the Western Avenue area to address the crime that's been happening in that area, because that area is of extreme importance to us.
Now, along with all the automated license plate reader cameras that are installed around the peninsula, the Sheriff's Department is dispatching these ASAP vehicles, which uses similar technology to survey vehicles on the road.
This one's also equipped with the ASAP or the ALRP system, and these cameras are mounted on the top right here. They're side-facing and forward-facing. So if I'm traveling down the street, it's picking up vehicles that are to my right parked or moving, and it's also picking up vehicles that are traveling opposite of my direction.
It really doesn't affect your privacy at all. The cameras automatically read hundreds of thousands of plates every car that passes, but the image captured is just the back of the car and the license plate. Does not capture the driver.
The cameras around us are picking up images, and then what happens with those images? Where do they go?
They're stored in a cloud storage base. If there is a hit, a stolen vehicle, it will pop up on our computers at the station immediately, and the units will be dispatched to the area and try to track the vehicle.
So do you find this incredibly helpful then when you're out?
Oh, it's a major tool in our arsenal. It's since its inception, we've captured a lot of criminals just based on this system.
Law enforcement points out that these cameras only capture license plates and that residents still need to be the eyes of the community and to report any suspicious activity. I'm Liz Brown-Swanson reporting for RPV TV.
Are you ready if disaster strikes? Liz Brown-Swanson reports on local efforts to prepare in case of an emergency.
We'd like everyone in Rancho Palos Verdes to be prepared for whatever kind of hazard might come their way.
The chair of RPV's Emergency Preparedness Committee wants everyone to be disaster ready, just like the Gusman family.
We've come up with some plans. We know what we're going to do in case of an earthquake or some other kind of major disaster. They know that if I'm not home, what they need to do if they're asleep at night in bed, they need to get underneath the bed. That's the best place in our bedroom to keep anything from falling on top of them. They know they can go out to the backyard, straight through our door in the bedroom if they can't get through the rest of the house.
Chris Gussman is an LA County firefighter. His wife, Christina, is a neighborhood watch block captain. They know emergency planning is critical, especially now as new parents with a child to protect.
I think there's always some more that we could do. I think, now that we have the baby, we could maybe stock the cars with diapers and such that we don't have in there right now. We have the diaper bag. We have a solar charger for our phones. That way, if we don't have the landlines going anymore.
We try to keep a pretty good stock of supplies with canned food, water, emergency blankets, and that kind of stuff, first aid.
First of all, we'd like everyone to have sufficient food, water, and clothing to be on their own for periods of either 3 days if you have to evacuate your home for a temporary period, or for a period of 10 to 14 days if you're asked to shelter in place. Sheltering in place is most likely what will happen if there's a major area-wide earthquake, for example. You need to figure out what is right for your family, and everybody's needs will be different, whether you're a one-person household or have children or a pet. The most basic need is water and food, and the rule is to have 1 gallon of water per person per day for approximately 10 to 14 days in the event of an extended emergency situation. The City of Rancho Palos Verdes has an emergency preparedness section on the city website, and it happens to be right here behind me. Go to the city website at www.rpvca.gov, and in the lower right corner you'll see a button called Emergency Preparation. You just click there, and a new page appears on Emergency Management, and you can see RPV Ready, Are You Prepared? Click there and you'll get information on different types of scenarios on what you need to do with an earthquake or if there's a fire or something else. The city is well organized to operate an emergency operations center at City Hall. But the key point we need to get across to all our residents is that the city does not have the resources, nor does any city have the resources to provide all the food and water and needs for all of its residents should there be a very major area-wide disaster.
Ready as we can be. I don't think you can ever be fully prepared. She's ready to go at any point.
The more people that are ready for an emergency, the better it is for everyone in the neighborhood. If you're not feeling ready, don't wait. Start preparing today. I'm Liz Brown Swanson reporting for RPV TV.
And on October 30th, emergency planners on the peninsula will hold the second annual Preparedness Expo at the Norris Pavilion. It runs from noon to 3 and a free lunch will be served. There will be dozens of exhibits and demonstrations to educate the community on emergency planning. And coming up next, one local resident shows us no matter what your age, everyone should exercise. And many local artists open up their homes and show off some amazing artwork. We'll be right back. Many local artists had the opportunity to showcase their talents during the recent Art Studio Tour. During this tour, many local artists from in and around the peninsula opened their doors and showed off their home studios. Here's more from Mark J. Dottie.
The Artist Studio Tour started about 12 years ago, and it's a group that's affiliated with the Palos Verdes Art Center, and it's a group of artists that do all sorts of different varieties of work. There may be 10 or 15 painters, but there's all sorts of ceramicists and clothing artists and sculptors, jewelry, anything in the artistic area that you might be interested in.
What would you call this style of art that we're looking at here?
It's 3D art and assemblage art, and some of it is steampunk. Steampunk is a term that refers to mechanical, and it came about in the end of the 19th century.
Kind of that Jules Verne.
Yeah, Jules Verne and Hugo movie, they showed the clocks, and so that's what inspired me to get into it.
Is that right? That's what got you into it? You saw the movie?
And does clock restoration, anti-clock restoration and repair, and so we have a lot of friends give us broken clock movements. He takes them apart, and I get little clock movements and watch movements that I use in my artwork, and then I find things that online or in the antique malls or secondhand stores. People give me things, so it's there's a lot of things. We find things in the secondhand stores like old toys and different sizes of tools, oil cans. Some of the things are made from oil cans.
So is this like a welding process, or is it hot glue, or?
I use glue. My husband will help me make bases for some of the things because he's a woodworker. So the things that need bases, he'll make a base for me, and then I start my process.
What would you call your style of art here?
Actually, I try to do different styles. So every year I might have something new coming out because I hate to stay on the same style all the time. And I've been doing this for 12 years.
Okay.
And so every year will come out something different.
I see sort of some ceramic base somewhat. Is it? Are you work with clay a lot?
Yes. I work on a low fire, high fire, even mid fire. Yeah, so it's pretty.
So do you have your own kiln? Is that?
I do.
Well, I'm a sculptor. I'm retired, and I took up sculpture 5 years ago, and I've been taking courses at the Palos Verdes Art Center, and I do most of my work there. And
how much sculpturing did you do before you started taking the classes? Did you do any?
None.
So as of 5 years ago, you were brand new.
Brand new 5 years ago, but I am from the Southwest, and I was a landscape architect there in New Mexico for 50 years, so the forms that I have tend to be rather Southwestern.
Well, that's it for the Artist Studio Tour. If you want more information, you can go to the Artist Studio Gallery right there at the Promenade on the Peninsula. For RPV TV, this is Mark J. Dottie.
Some of the most creative and innovative architecture is right here on the Palos Verdes Peninsula. Recently, the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy featured several of these homes in the PVPLC White Point Home Tour. Here to tell us more is reporter Lisa Baragos.
Here we are, about to kick off the 2016 White Point Home Tour. Let's go check it out.
This is a really wonderful event that benefits the White Point Nature Preserve, which is one of the sites managed by the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy. There are 102 acres here, and we have volunteers almost every month coming out to plant native plants. And we're delighted to have today's event, which benefits the White Point Nature Preserve.
Something very special about this mid-century modern home is all of the exposed beams and wood. It's quite unique, and it's definitely something we want to have a better look at. Let's check it out. I'm here with Judy Bodner, the proud owner of Mid-Century Modern with a View. Now, Judy, I've been told we're standing in front of your very favorite art piece in the house. Tell us more about it.
I would love to. It's a piece called Queen of the Night by Erce, very famous artist. And I keep it here in the bedroom because it's the first thing I get to look at when I open up my eyes in the morning. I love it.
So our next stop on the tour is modern Spanish colonial. And one very sweet element of this home is the outdoor front patio. And what's special about it is this very vibrant plant wall that kind of gives privacy from the home to the street. As you can see here, it also incorporates Spanish tile, ties into the whole architecture and theme of the home. I think it's time that we go inside and check out the rest of the home. Notice you have a beautiful blend of warm and cool colors throughout. Can you tell me about that process? Were you very involved with the decor?
I was very involved with the decor. For years, I only dealt with warm colors, and I would have never mixed. And then it felt heavy to me, so we have blue splashes of we have a blue console over there.
This stunning home was designed by internationally recognized architect Aaron Green, protege of Frank Lloyd Wright.
We've been coming to these events for 6 or 7 years. We see extraordinary houses, and this one just takes the cake. I mean, I just want to go out in that hammock out there and lie down.
I think the backyard is just absolutely breathtaking. It's beautiful. The view's gorgeous. It's so peaceful and tranquil, and it's lovely, really lovely.
Well, there you have it. Some highlights from the White Point Homes Tour benefiting the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy. We hope you remember to pick up your tickets for next year as well. This truly is a special event. This is Lisa Paragos reporting for RPV TV.
Working out is important at any age, but can be challenging for seniors who have existing medical conditions. That's where Golden Cove Physical Therapy can make a difference. I had a chance to sit down with a local resident and a physical therapist who talk about how fitness is life-changing at any age.
I think the intimidation comes from a lack of knowledge and experience. You know, they've never gone to a gym, they've never gone to physical therapy, they don't really know how their body works. So when they come in, a lot of what we do is education. We teach them about their bodies. I mean, these patients come in and there's something they come in for specifically, and we go through the examination process and we find 12 things that are contributing to that problem. So at first it's frustrating, like, I didn't know I had all those issues, but then they see why that all fits together. And then when they start seeing the progress, the shoulder pain's going away, they're more functional. Hey, I can reach that top shelf now that I never thought I'd be able to reach. Once they see those small milestones, we've got them. They're sold. They realize now what it is that we do. So that's when the intimidation goes away, it was with the education part of it.
When you first came here, you sat down with the medical professionals and just talked about the different issues that you might have. Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, you talk to them and explain why you're here. Okay. And you fill out a form that goes into more detail. Okay. And then they get you ready to begin the program. Well, it's very comfortable, and it's user-friendly in the way that everyone here knows who you are, and they're very warm and welcoming. And the exercises they have you do are very reasonable. Okay. I have a very bad back, and this really helps coming here. I go to the treadmill and walk for 15 minutes.
And it's kind of amazing, too, when you think about the fact that it's really little things that people want to do, and maybe they don't even know it. And once they can do it, it's a whole new world for them.
No, it is absolutely. Like I said, just reaching up for something, being able to squat down and lift up a bag of groceries without any kind of difficulty, being able to walk on a surface that's unsteady where they thought they'd never be able to do that again, being able to walk on the beach again, not knowing that that's something they can actually improve. Because when they think of the gym and they think of physical therapy, they think of, okay, strengthening and stretching, not realizing that we also work on function, we work on balance, which is huge. I had a patient who came in the other day and she was falling and didn't know why, and then she knows it's her balance that's off, and was shocked at the fact that that's something we can help with. Right. They're like, well, how do you work on balance? How do you improve that? We do balance exercises. And then just within a few visits, she's coming in so ecstatic that I can do that long. I can stand on one leg longer. I can actually reach up to get something on the shelf and not feel off balance. They see the improvements week by week, you know.
Are they ever amazed at the things that they think there's no way I could ever do that, and then boom, they're doing it within a short period of time?
We see it all the time, and especially with endurance. A lot of times with walking just a few minutes and then suddenly being able to walk longer. Stairs were challenging. They'd be out of breath, and now they can go up and down without any difficulty. And it's especially those patients who came in with a walker or a cane or wheelchair, and then now suddenly, I can walk. I don't need that assistance anymore. So yes, you do see these dramatic changes.
And how are you feeling health-wise since you've been doing the workouts here?
Oh, much better.
Really?
And on my workout days, I feel even better when I go home.
And Golden Cove Physical Therapy is located, you got it, right here in Golden Cove Plaza. They will have a grand opening coming up, so stay tuned for more info right here on Peninsula Beat. And finally, every year, thousands of volunteers gather outdoors to celebrate National Public Lands Day. The Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy marked the day with a special cleanup event at the White Point Nature Preserve in San Pedro. Liz Brown-Swanson joins us from the preserve with the story. Liz.
The Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy held another successful volunteer cleanup event at the White Point Nature Preserve in San Pedro. The occasion marked the 23rd annual National Public Lands Day, organized by the National Environmental Education Foundation and sponsored by Toyota.
So we have over 250 volunteers signed up today, and this is an amazing feat to have all these volunteers here doing things like watering native plants, removing invasive weeds, laying down mulch, removing old irrigation line, closing spur trails. They're all working hard to improve this habitat for wildlife as well as for the community to enjoy.
The National Environmental Education Foundation is aimed at helping people to get the knowledge and information about the environment and use it in their everyday lives. We would like people across the United States to be able to use environmental intelligence in their everyday decisions. Everything from how do you use your recycling, do recycling, to just how do you enjoy national parks and public lands. And so since 1994, we have helped to bring people from across the United States out on a day to enjoy their public lands, to engage with their public lands, and to help improve their public lands.
Over 30% of America's land is public, and events like this bring our community together to give back to the land. And for this volunteer who has spent many hours in the preserve, he was given a special award.
For all of this and more, Ernie, we would like to thank you with the 2016 Outstanding Volunteer Award.
One of the things I have to say is that working for a company like Toyota, they've been very kind in promoting working out in the community. And for me, working in San Pedro, since I grew up so close to this location, it's been fantastic. I literally used to drive by this as a child, remembering when the land over here had the missile sites. So we drive by and you see the missiles pointed out to the ocean. It's transformed from 7-8 years ago. Just the nature garden itself has just blossomed, and knowing that some of the plants that are out here have actually come back, as well as some of the weeds that I've taken out. But it's been a great event to come back here. And actually for me, I kid with the PVPL staff here, is that it's therapy. You come out here, pull some weeds, get a little bit of that aggression going, and it's with the ocean here, you can't beat it.
So this site is a 100-acre property, and it's owned by the Department of Recreation and Parks, City of LA, and it sat fallow for many years. In 2000, it was declared a nature preserve, and we have been working with the city and the community from that point forward to really develop a beautiful nature preserve here. So there's lots of native plants and habitat that have been installed on the site. We have great nesting birds and tons of butterflies here now. And the space that we're standing in is a historic building, and it's part of the site's history. It's from the Cold War era. It was a military building, and we have adaptively repurposed it and reused it, and it is now a nature education center.
Tell me why you like coming out here and what you're doing.
I like coming out here because we dig and plant.
And for you, what do you like about being here at the preserve?
Well, I like to dig out things and help.
All right, well, these volunteers are working hard, covering a lot of territory, watering, weeding, and making a big difference to help preserve this beautiful land for everyone to enjoy for generations to come. I'm Liz Brown Swanson reporting for RPV TV.
The election countdown is here. Rancho Palos Verdes voters will cast ballots in 10 races and consider 17 propositions. In an effort to educate local voters, the Palos Verdes Peninsula Chamber of Commerce held a candidates forum at the PV Country Club. The chamber invited candidates running for Congress, the State Assembly, and LA County Board of Supervisors. You can find out about any candidates and get Election Day information by logging on to votersedge.org.
We are so excited to be here today for our very popular Candidates Forum. It's an open forum where the Chamber of Commerce has invited all of the candidates who are running for Congress, State Assembly, and Los Angeles County Supervisor to represent the peninsula to be here with us today and to talk directly to our businesses and the community about the issues that impact us. We're talking about how do we create jobs, how do we attract and retain businesses throughout the South Bay to keep the economic vitality. We worry about the cost of housing. We worry about the lack of a good regional transportation system throughout the South Bay. Our members talk frequently about the onerous regulations that impact businesses in the state of California. So those are all, issues that are very top of mind amongst chamber members. One of our key focus areas within our mission statement is to be the voice of business to government, and that might be at the local level, the state level, or the federal level, because clearly there are different issues at every level. So we have a very active Legislative Affairs Committee, and our Board of Directors oversees everything that the Legislative Affairs Committee recommends, but we follow and track any number of business-related bills, take positions on them, and then advocate either for or against them depending on what our committee recommends and our board approves. Obviously, Election Day coming up, just your message to the voters. Just get out and vote. It is so important to be engaged and vote. Our democracy, our founding fathers wanted everyone to have that right to vote, and we as citizens need to exercise it. Encourage your students who are off at college to get that absentee ballot and get it turned in on time, because if we're not at the table and we don't exercise our right to vote, then we really don't have any recourse in terms of maybe not liking what happens in the next 4 years.
And for more information about the upcoming volunteer events at the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy, check out their website at pvplc.org. And that will do it for us. From everyone here at RPV TV, make it a great day.